Hello and welcome to Hollow Hills Ranch. Today I am finishing up winterizing our raised beds. Rowdy thought he'd say hi while I was at it. And I also have Maisie Cat out here giving me a hand. Anyway, I am going to show you kind of what I've done so far. Provided the rooster lets me work. Alright, I'll be right back. So in case you didn't know, chickens can't have tomato plants or green tomatoes. So when I ripped them out of this bed, I took all the plants and green tomatoes I could find and put them out here to pick up later. The red tomatoes or yellow tomatoes that were still hanging on, I threw out to the chickens because they can have it just fine. And what I've done here, I have put down straw flakes where I know nothing is growing. And that's going to help prevent weeds and, kill the weeds that are there actually. But you can see, not very well, but there are some onion tops in there. And down here I have carrots. So I can't put heavy straw there. I'm probably not going to do anything on the carrot end. But where there's onions, I'm going to put a layer of straw that's loose so they can still grow through it and hopefully not rot, because I don't want to smother them. And then this next bed over here, there's bigger onions. You can see those. I trimmed the tops off the onions so they're a little bit shorter, and I'm going to spread some straw in there here in a minute. And you can see I just put flakes down where there's nothing growing. And then the last bed that I have out here, I've actually finished it. There was kale coming up and still growing, which is good because that's what this bed was for. And so I made packs of the flakes again where there's nothing growing. And I had a bad take of some really old seed when it came to the kale. So I have probably 6 plants in here, and that's where I have the loose straw around them so they don't get smothered and yet they don't have a bunch of weeds coming up later either. And so that's the raised bed so far. I will be back when I've finished with the straw. Maisie wanted to say hi while I was working, so I thought I'd throw her in here real quick. Maisie! She says, I want some water. Can you break the ice, please? Okay, you can see I have done the onions now. Stepping on things as I go around. I just kind of tucked the straw up underneath the onion tops and tried to pull them through so they could stick out of the straw as much as possible here. And then over here, these didn't really have any onion tops, so I just did a loose straw over the top. Hopefully they'll be okay. I'll find out later on this winter if they didn't. And here we have the carrots. Who knows how well they're going to do. This was the 3rd packet of old seed carrots that I had put in, and they finally grew, but late in the season, so they're not big enough to pluck out yet. So we will leave them in for a while and see how they do. Being a root crop, they should be okay, and it seems like the freeze isn't hurting the greens either, so that's those. Now I'm going to show you the mess that is the whole garden and what our plans are for next spring, hopefully. Right over here you can see the fence line. There's a bunch of cardboard there. I put it in there to kill the grass, and I'm probably going to move some more over here. And I have a bunch of my tomato cages hanging out there in that empty raised bed. I have blackberries to cut down along the fence over here. Fantastic things they are. Complete sarcasm. And you can see this is my driveway right here next to the garden. And what I'm planning on doing, so this length from that fence to this fence is about 25 feet. So I'm going to keep this actually going. And the chicken's under the pear tree over there. So I am going to continue this probably another 40 some feet to the just to the edge of the pear tree. I'm not going to get under it, but just to the edge of it. And this will all be garden. A neighbor of mine had these old tracks, so I'm thinking about trying to set up some raised beds with those and fill them up with sticks on the bottom to let them rot, and then fill them up with some straw on top of that, and then probably dirt on top of that. And those are going to go in here too for the raised beds. I'm planning on making this big area more for summer crops, and this area over here that's a mess, I would like to do winter crops, and that way the chickens can rotate through. So when the summer crops are done, they can come in here and scratch up the ground and get bugs and everything while the winter crops are growing. And then when we plant the spring crops, the winter should be just about done, and we can let the chickens in here to do the same thing. So that's kind of my goal out here, is I want this all to be very chicken friendly as well as human friendly. This is our orchard area. We were going to have some more trees put in. This poor peach tree may end up going though. It's got some issues, but we have plans to put in a bunch more fruit trees, fruiting shrubs, vines, whatnot out here. It's a pretty big area. And we'll have some geese out here too for the protection of the chickens, as well as alarms for us. So if anything's going on, we can tell what it is. But that's our plan for the orchard and the raised beds. Well, and then over here by the chicken coop, we're going to be building some hoop houses and a potting shed area. So there's a few other projects. They just might take a while. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will be back soon, I'm sure, with lambing season. It's only a month away.